So we had the 2 EPs out, and we were feeling really great after that summer. We getting a lot of real positive feedback from our music, and we were just heading back to school. Thank you.
I remember the first day, I think it was actually, of the next semester, we walked into Brinkman Hall, and staring us right in the face was a flyer, Battle of the Bands.
Yep.
So we got these new songs, and we're thinking...
And what better way to ride them around town?
We might have a shot at this damn thing.
We could give them a run for their money, that's for sure. And
the prize.
I remember. Yes,
that's what looked nice to us at the time.
I remember when we were back then, we were very, very much into the candy game, and the prize was 250 campus bucks.
We had our eye
big city bucks, we called them, and we had our eye on
the big city all stars gumball machine.
The gumball machine,
at the campus store.
And so we pulled all the stops in this one. I remember specifically.
We're thinking we gotta.
Do you remember? Actually, that's right. We called up. I think it was me. We decided. I called Colburn High, and I said, "Who's the 2 baddest bullies you got in town? Who's the 2 kids causing the most trouble? And they gave us the names. We flew those kids out to the big city, and it was like we took these kids. I mean, they were our age. I remember we were in school with them. They kind of took our step, and they've just been hanging in high school, just bullying it left and right, And so these 2 kids, Andrew and Ross, we brought them in, and we kind of did what Will Schmidt and Jazz Jeffrey did to us.
We were like, we said, hey, we know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
We were you.
Yeah.
And I handed Ross an accordion.
Yeah.
And I handed Andrew a trumpet.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what you do now.
And then I remember we made them sign the paper, being like, just like, we will not bully again. But I remember we gave them the shocking pens.
Yes.
And so we bullied the bullies, and it was kind of like, a little bit of razzing.
A little bit on their, hazing the rookies. Let them know their place in the band.
So anyway, long story short, we started working with these bullies. It was really a good crew. And we show up, Battle of the Bands, there's tons of people there. It was such energy in the room. Yeah. It was really our first big outing. We've been putting out this music, but this was like the big, like, hey everybody, we're here and we're serious. And we nailed it.
We put everything into this performance. We said,
yes,
this has got to be
the one.
This has got to be the one.
This is the gumball machine.
This is the biggest night of our lives if we want that gumball machine. So it turns out that putting out all the stops was not the wisest thing to do. We
won. We won that night.
We won that night, yeah.
And I remember going to sleep. We celebrated, and we were going around town bullying people, and then we woke up
the next morning to a camp full of dead kids. We found out that it was a tournament, and we had only won round 1. It was bracket style. It was March Madness in September with bands.
Bands as far as I could see. And we basically...
we played the next round.
Yes.
And it's kind of... We started to feel the pressure, next round, and then, like I said, there's 5 rounds. So we've done 2 at this point. Third round comes along, and we're just...
we are spent, I remember.
We put out all the stops the first time. What else is there? So we were just kept reaching to the bottom of the bag. What can we do this time to top ourselves? And by the 3rd or 4th show, we just were putting so much energy into this battle of the bands. I mean, we wanted that gumball machine. We had to drop out of school to focus all our efforts into the battle, writing new material, coming up, with new ideas as far as, half of it's showmanship. What are we going to do to wow them this time?
Yeah. So then we were. This is just like, what a story, We make it all the way. We forced these 2 kids to drop out of high school. We dropped out of college to win this Battle of the Bands. So
we get to the final round.
Yeah.
And whoopsie, disqualification.
Poof.
We learned that night that since we dropped out, we were no longer eligible to win.
None of us was in the school. No. So the Battle of the Bands, we ended up finding out after we performed that night. I remember we got off stage and we were all celebrating.
It was a good enough performance to win.
We got off stage and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "You guys can't win."
Donald, I remember him.
And he shows us the paper, and I remember just looking. I remember I looked over to you and like, wow, we really sent the yo-yo down Main Street on this one.
So we didn't get the gumball machine. We no longer are enrolled.
Yeah, and
What's our future?
yeah, we basically collapsed.
We did.
We never really had any intention of even releasing these songs.
No,
we
we
actually
were done.
We were done, and Steve actually, oddly enough, so he actually was recording these songs or had recordings of them, and put this out basically,
Yeah,
you know,
all
after the
songs
band's
that
death.
we did for the show. That
Yeah.
you know,
And he, you know, appropriately entitled it, you know, because we were all missing. He called it "Missing."
and that was the next EP.
Yeah.